Let's talk about a man who basically did the impossible. A boxer who redefined the limits of what a human being could do and accomplished something so incredible it's never, ever been repeated. His name was Henry Armstrong.
You know, fighters get some pretty intense nicknames, but one of his really stood out, Homicide Hank. I mean, come on, that name alone tells you everything you need to know about the kind of relentless pressure he brought into the ring. But as we're about to see, it was what he actually accomplished that really cemented his legend.
So, this is the big question, right? How on earth did one man in the golden age of boxing manage to become the undisputed king of 3 separate divisions at the exact same time? Well, to get the answer, we got to go back to the beginning.
All right, Section 1, Forging a Fighting Style. We're going from Henry Jackson Jr. to a boxing whirlwind. Because before all the titles and the fame, he was just a young guy trying to survive.
So, picture this. It's the Great Depression, and a young man named Henry Jackson Jr. shows up in Los Angeles. He starts fighting, but not for big paydays. He's fighting for pocket change. And he does it under the name Melody Jackson, which was actually a pretty clever way to protect his amateur status. Little did anyone know, he was about to become one of the greatest professionals of all time.
This is where his legend really starts to take shape. See, Armstrong wasn't just a skilled fighter, he was a physiological marvel. His opponents nicknamed him the Perpetual Motion Machine because they just couldn't figure out how a human could keep up that kind of pace. It was like his heart and lungs were built on a whole different blueprint.
So what did that actually look like in the ring? Oh, it was a beautiful, chaotic whirlwind. Armstrong had exactly one gear, forward. He never backed up. His whole strategy was to get inside, basically bury his head in his opponent's chest, and just unleash a non-stop storm of punches. He wasn't trying to outbox you, he was trying to drown you in sheer volume from the first bell to the last.
And that relentless style? It wasn't just for show. It was the engine that powered him to an achievement that still echoes through sports history. Over one unbelievable 10-month stretch, he became not just a champion, but the champion of 3 different worlds.
The timeline here is just staggering. He grabs the featherweight title in 1937. Then, in May 1938, he doesn't just jump up 1 weight class, he jumps up 2 to take the welterweight title. Then, just 3 months after that, he drops back down to win the lightweight crown. That's a lifetime of achievements packed into just 10 months. It's wild.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 3. Not over a career, but 3 undisputed world championships, held all at the same time. Featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight. He was the king of all of them, simultaneously.
And to really get how monumental this is, you have to understand the era. Back then, there were only 8 total weight classes, with 1 undisputed champ in each. Armstrong owned nearly half the boxing world. Today, you've got over 17 divisions, with 4 or more champions in each. What he did is not just hard, it's structurally impossible now.
And he wasn't just collecting these belts, he was actively defending them. Can you imagine the physical toll of fighting as a welterweight, and then, just a few weeks later, having to drain your body to make the lightweight limit for another title defense? It's an athletic feat that almost defies belief.
And believe it or not, he almost did the unthinkable and won a 4th. He stepped up to middleweight and fought the champion to a controversial draw. To this day, many boxing historians will tell you he was absolutely robbed that night. He was that close to holding 4 undisputed titles at once. Just unreal.
But Armstrong's story, and this is the incredible part, doesn't end in the ring. His second act in life was just as remarkable as his first.
It's really a powerful contrast, isn't it? The man they called Homicide Hank, a fighter with 151 wins and 101 knockouts, this 3-time undisputed world champion, would go on to completely transform his entire life's purpose.
Yep, Henry Armstrong became an ordained minister. He spent the rest of his life working with at-risk kids, giving back to the same kinds of tough neighborhoods that he once had to fight his way out of. The Perpetual Motion Machine found a new, and you could argue, an even greater calling.
Which brings us to a final thought. In our modern world of sports, with athletes specializing more and more, becoming hyper-focused on one thing, could we ever see a force of nature like Henry Armstrong again? A single person who could conquer 3 different worlds all at once? It's a really compelling question, and it's exactly why his legacy remains truly, uniquely, one of a kind.